Hi, and nice to see you back at Garfin's creation. Let's make Mango Rabdi Milk Cake. This is a super delicious soft cake that melts in the mouth. To make this cool Indian fusion dessert, you'll find all the ingredients in the description box below. We'll start by baking the sponge first. For that, we will sieve all the dry ingredients. I have taken 1 cup of Maida all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of corn flour, 1/4 teaspoon salt. We'll be adding 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Level the spoon and use it. And 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. This is a very simple eggless vanilla sponge cake recipe. We won't be using any condensed milk in this as well. So we'll just sieve all the dry ingredients and then mix it well. This will ensure that all the ingredients are well combined. Keep it aside and mix the wet ingredients too. For that, in a bowl, I've taken 1/2 cup of curds. Depending on the type of curds you have used, the milk quantity at the end will need to be adjusted. After adding the curds, I'll be adding 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. I've just taken 1/2 cup of grain sugar in a mixie jar and made it into a powder. We will now mix both the curds and the sugar till the sugar is completely dissolved. Now once this is done, I'll be adding 1/2 cup of vegetable oil and 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. If you have mango essence, you could add that as well. I will now whisk this for about a minute till the oil and all the other ingredients are well emulsified. That is, it is completely mixed well. So now this is well mixed. We'll be adding the other ingredients, that is little milk and also the maida mixture that we have sieved earlier. So I'll be adding the dry ingredients a little at a time and whisking it at the same time so that there's no lumps. So then after adding all the maida into the wet ingredients, I will be just using a little milk and adjust the consistency. This sponge recipe is very easy to make and you can use it for other cake decorations as well. So now the all-purpose flour is well mixed. I'll be just adding 1 tablespoon of milk at the time and whisking it again. If your curds or dahi was too runny, then you need less milk. If you have used nice thick curds, you'll require more milk. Accordingly, I'll be adding around 2 tablespoons of milk and adjusting the consistency till I get a ribbon-like texture. So you will have to adjust the milk quantity according to the curds that you have used. I will now use a spatula and scrape the bowl well, even from below, so that everything mixes well. And you can also check the consistency here. So go slow with the milk and just add little at a time till you get this ribbon-like consistency. So I have used a total of 2 tablespoons of milk. I will now grease a 6-inch round cake tin with some oil and also be using a butter paper and placing it into the center and again applying oil on top of it again. You can also grease it with some oil and dust some maida over it if you do not have a butter paper. All we have to do is now just pour the batter into the greased tin. If you're going to bake this into the oven, you need to preheat your oven 10 minutes earlier at 180 degrees centigrade with the lower coil on. Today I'll be baking this cake over a gas stove, so I have preheated my vessel for 5 minutes earlier on low flame. Once you have poured the batter, just level it with the spatula and just tap it a few times to release any air bubbles. We can now also bake this into the oven at 180 degrees centigrade for 30 to 35 minutes. I have preheated a large vessel for the last 5 minutes. Since my vessel is not very thick, I've added some sand into it and placed a ring stand on it. I will now place the cake tin over it and close it and let this bake for around 40 to 45 minutes till it's completely done. The baking time will depend on the flame and the vessel you have used. So after 30 minutes, do keep a watch and check if it is done. So depending on the vessel you have used, you need to bake it on low to medium flame. To check if it is done, insert a wooden screw. If it comes out clean, your cake is ready. Now place it on a cooling rack for at least 10 minutes to cool. While the cake is cooling a bit, let's make the rabdi. I have taken half a liter milk which is boiled and it is now lukewarm. To this I'll be adding this Gits Rabdi mix. This is very easy to use and you can make instant rabdi in no time. So I'll empty the entire content of it in this half liter warm milk and mix it well so that all the lumps are dissolved. Now once the lumps are all dissolved in this warm milk, I will now lit the flame. I will now burn the gas stove and keep it on medium flame and let this mixture boil up. We need to keep stirring this continuously as it may settle down and get burned. So now we can see that it starts getting boiled, and once it starts boiling, after the first boil, you need to reduce the flame and just simmer it for just 2 minutes. If you want a thicker consistency, you need to simmer this for 5 to 10 minutes. Since we want to pour this rabdi over the cake, we will just simmer it for 2 minutes after the first boil and not let it get thick. The rabdi is a little bit cool now, so I'll be adding mango puree to it. You can add around half a cup of mango puree into it. So just grind some mango into a mixie jar and then add it to this rabdi. You can add more or less depending on your taste. I've added half a cup in this. Now the cake dough is not very cold, it is still warm, and now we will unmold it and then I'll be putting it into a glass bowl. You can however keep the cake into the same baking tray and pour the rabdi over it. I've just taken a glass bowl that is a little bigger than the cake size and put the cake inside it. So I'll just make some holes on the cake sponge so that when we pour the rabdi, it soaks well into the cake and it gets nice and moist. Our cake too is still warm and the rabdi too is a little bit warm. I will now pour the mango rabdi that we had prepared over the cake. So cover the entire cake with the rabdi milk. When we keep this in the fridge, it will absorb all the rabdi and get nice and moist. I will also be keeping little of the mango rabdi for later use. So pour generous amount of the mango rabdi over the cake so that it absorbs well. After this, I'll be just adding some chopped almonds and pistachios. You could also add some rose petals for extra color. So now the cake is ready to go into the fridge. Just close it with a cling film and we'll keep it in the fridge to cool and get well chilled for at least 1 to 2 hours. Doing so, the cake will absorb all the flavors of the rabdi and get nice and moist. After 2 hours, you can see that all the rabdi has been absorbed in the cake. You can now slice this. This mango rabdi milk cake tastes best when it is well chilled. So do keep it in the fridge for at least 1 hour to get well chilled. The leftover mango rabdi can be poured over the cake just now in this bowl itself, or it can also be poured on individual pieces while being served. But do remember, you need to chill the rabdi as well along with the cake. So our mango rabdi milk cake is ready to be served. So this summer do try this mango rabdi milk cake. And when mangoes are not in season, you can just prepare this rabdi cake without the mango as well. Do try this delicious cool cake and let me know how you liked it. I'll be seeing you soon in the next video too. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.